On November the 14th. If you would, please stand with me for an invocation and a flag salute. Let's start by praying to our Creator. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful, God, for your blessing on us. We're thankful for your blessing on our community, on our staff. God, we pray that you would be in these proceedings with us, that you would help us to make good decisions. And God, we rely on your guidance and we look for your courage and your wisdom to help us do the best work we can for our city and for our community. God, we pray your blessing on the families that are here and all those that work for the city. And God, we pray your blessing on our nation as well, the challenges that we're facing, and especially those overseas. God, we pray your blessing and comfort on those who are in war-torn situations, that you would intervene and solve that. God, thank you so much for loving us, and thank you for your Son, our Savior, Jesus the Christ, and in his name we pray. Amen. Amen. If you would join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. At this point in time, I want to go to the roll call. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Shear.
Here.
Councilmember Fuller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Here.
Mayor Tucker.
Here. Next, I'm gonna go to the citizen comments. We've had a couple of citizens sign up to make brief comments before the council. After this, we're going to move into the, just so you know, we're going to move into the Utilities Authority for that agenda. Then following that, we'll go to the Airport Authority, and then we'll come back into the city council. So at this time, we've had two individuals sign up to make comments before the council tonight. First is Ronell Ortiz. And Ronell, the podium is yours for 3 minutes, and Cindy is the official timekeeper. If you crowd that time limit, she will make you aware.
We ready? Good afternoon, council. My name is Ronell Ortiz. I'm an engineer here, been a resident of this town for quite a while. I've raised my kids here. My daughter, she's here tonight, and that's the reason I'm here. You know, she grew up in the school system from kindergarten, and now she's a senior in high school. She's actually the president of the HOSA chapter here in Durant. What HOSA is basically just an organization that tries to promote health services here in Durant. So she actually took her team last year to the national stage, which says a lot for our community. That says, you know, the health side services is promising. You know, we're all going to need help, you know, at some point in our lives, whether we get old or injuries. So it's just a great organization, and I'd like her to come up here and talk about that.
Thank you, Ronnie. So Caitlin Ortiz, the podium is yours.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Ortiz, and I'm from Durant High School, like he said, and I'm the co-president for the 2023-2024 school year. I came up here today to bring awareness that this week is HOSA week, and we are trying to raise money for Be the Match, which is our national service project. Be the Match is it's a national bone marrow transplant bank, essentially, and it helps find patients that have matching blood stem donors. And also, I would like to mention that we are competing with other schools in Oklahoma for a competition to see who can get the most blood donors through OBI, which is Oklahoma Blood Institute. And we'll be having a blood drive November 8th to 28th, which is the week after Thanksgiving on a Tuesday from 8:30 to 3. And we encourage you all to come out and donate blood, because it'll save lives, and the more participants we have from our school or from the community, we get more money that goes to a charity of our choice through OBI. And actually, our last blood drive that we hosted, we had, I believe we had one of the biggest checks donated to the first, I think it's the first ministry, it was the first ministry I can't remember what it's called, but we donated it to them, and I think the check was like almost like 1,200. I think that's the biggest check OBI has written. So, and our goal is to beat that. So, and if you come from the community, you'll have first priority. So you just let us know, and we'll get you in there as fast as possible.
Caitlin, where will this be located?
At Durant High School in the auditorium. And if you would like to have more information on Be the Match, you can support us, and we will get points because we are also in a competition for that too, through HOSA. And you can contact us at duranthosa@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caitlin, very good. Thank you very much. I have a grandson who's a senior in high school. I'm not sure he would have given as eloquent a presentation. So congratulations. Thank you for that very much. And OBI is a wonderful organization as well. So appreciate you working toward their end as well. At this time, we're going to call into order the meeting of the Durant City Utilities Authority. And so if now, at this time, would the clerk call the roll?
Trustee Miller,
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Fuller,
Here.
Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Here.
Chairman Tucker.
Here. The first order of business is item 1, consent items, which has to do with the approval of minutes from the regular meeting on October the 10th, and also approval of a schedule of meetings for the Durant City Utilities Authority for the calendar year of 2024. So do I hear a motion to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Motion to approve consent items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. There's no action to be taken on item number 2, which would have been items removed from consent. There is nothing under item number 3, information items. Item number 4, administration. Under item A, we will consider and take action with respect to a resolution of the City of Durant's Utilities Authority for approving and authorizing a loan from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board in the amount of $23 million, and then the details surrounding that. We have in our audience, along with Brendan Wall of Wall Engineering, we have Chris Gander and also Alan, who are prepared to make comments and answer questions around this resolution that the city is considering at this time. Does anyone wish to make comments? No? You're welcome to if so. Are there any questions from council pertaining to this resolution? You guys may have a short night.
I think everyone knows this is to make the improvements at our wastewater treatment plant. And Alan, this would be a short meeting for you, but yeah, this is a very important project for the city to move forward.
I think one comment that I would make in working through this process to get to this point, we look back and realize that in 2019 the city was prepared to and was educated on work that needed to be done and plans that needed to be made and steps that needed to be taken to bring the wastewater treatment plant up to the place where it should be operationally, and for one reason or another that got deferred and delayed and postponed, and now we find ourselves faced with the responsibility of making those improvements and changes and updates in addition to other things on top of that. So we are considering this loan as a result of that price tag being more now than it was then. If I'm overly condensing and simplifying this, please let me know. But that's the situation that we're considering tonight. Comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion for approval?
Motion to approve 4A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller, Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. Item number 5 is new business. Is there any new business to come before the Utilities Authority tonight? Hearing none, I'll consider a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the City Utilities Authority meeting. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller, Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes, our meeting is adjourned. At this time, I will call to order a meeting of the Durant Airport Authority, November the 14th. The clerk will call the roll when you have a moment to get that queued up. No rush.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller, Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Here.
Chairman Tucker.
Here. Item number 1, under the first order of business, consent items. We have approval of regular meeting minutes from October the 10th of this year, and we also have approval of a schedule of regular meetings for the Airport Authority for the calendar year of '24. Do we have a request to remove an item from the consent agenda for further consideration? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller, Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. Item number 2 has to do with consent items removed. There were none. Item number 3 is information that we have nothing for tonight's meeting. Under item number 4, administration, item A is discussion, consideration, and possible action on accepting of a loan from the Durant Industrial Authority to the Durant Airport Authority in the amount of $900. And I believe all the council has a copy of this document at your workstation. Floor is yours, Josh.
Good evening, members of the authority. Thank you very much. So this item right here, we have been working on for a little over a year now with the DIA, or Durant Industrial Authority, on working to get a loan for AirEvac to build a hangar out at the airport. What we're seeking tonight is for the authority to approve to accept the loan from the Durant Industrial Authority. At this current time as well, AirEvac is willing to put forth about $200,000 of their own funds as well towards the building of this hangar. This is a huge step forward for us. We're excited to possibly have this. Again, we did have a lease agreement that was approved by the authority a few months ago with AirEvac for this build. And this is just kind of continuing that to get this going. Now, once again, this will be a lease for 15 years, a loan for 15 years with a repayment on a monthly basis of $5,000 a month. That is 0% interest on this loan. With that too, I believe they're talking about, hiring 2 more crews for operation out there. They'll go from 12 hours to 24-hour operations. Huge item for Bryan County in and of itself to have something like that and the surrounding areas. With that, I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Josh on this promissory note and the loan, the form of the loan? Hearing no questions, I move for approval of this loan from the Durant Industrial Authority to the Airport Authority in the amount of $900,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. Item 4B is discussion, consideration, and possible action on a reallocation of capital improvement funds for the purchase and installation of security upgrades and cameras for the airport.
Thank you. So this one, it's one of those things that the initial allocation of the capital improvement funds, I believe it was 21 to 22 budget year, was for a ground power unit for the airport. We rolled those funds over. However, the problem is for a ground power unit for the airport that we'd be looking at, we're looking more, it's about $60,000, $70,000, and it's about a year lead time on it. What I'm requesting here is the ability to reallocate those funds to a security upgrade at the airport. This is the installation of some desperately needed cameras, a new access control system at the airport, which would then go to a key card system, somewhat similar to the key cards that are used for city employees and stuff like that. Every tenant would have them. We'd be able to track who goes in and out of the airport. We'd also be able to deactivate cards should somebody leave the airport. We'd be able to deactivate those cards, items like that. And the security camera upgrades alone would be a huge benefit to us, because right now we have no way to track of anything going on at our hangars. The only place out at the airport that does have any security cameras is the terminal. And also too, part of this is getting everything up into what's called NDIAS compliance, which is a security compliance that's more along the federal line for use with TSA and a lot of your government agencies. So if down the road we ever have something like that come in, or we are able to get like a air traffic control tower out there, we wouldn't have to go through at that time and basically revamp our entire security system. We're already getting ahead of it now and taking care of it before we get to that point. So with that, I will stand for any questions.
So as far as the ground power unit, Josh, that will just be deferred to a further future period?
Correct. We'd
Okay.
probably be looking at something like that around the time we got our apron expansion, because
Okay.
at that point in time, we'd actually have a jet
Right.
side for the airport. It would make more sense to have it at that time, because if it's a diesel generator or a plug-in generator, we'd actually be able to look at the power required for it to run these jets.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions for Josh on item 4B? No questions. Do we have a motion to consider?
I'll make the motion, we reallocate the capital improvement funds to purchase and installation of security upgrades and camera for the airport. Second.
We have a motion and a second for item 4B. The clerk will call the roll. Thank you, Josh.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. Item 5 is new business for the Durant Airport Authority. Do we hear any new business for tonight's meeting? Hearing none, consider a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the Durant Airport Authority's meeting. The clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Shear,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Simulescu,
Yes.
Chairman Tucker.
Yes. At this point in time, we will move back to the Durant City Council meeting, already called into session. Now we're under the order of business. At this time, we'll consider item 1, consent items. These consent items consist of approval of regular minutes from October the 10th, consideration of approval for budget supplements, consideration of approval for the regular meetings dates for the City Council for the calendar year of '24. Consider the approval of the 2024 City of Durant holiday schedule, and also to consider a discussion and take possible action on a Bureau of Justice Assistance Bulletproof Vest Partnerships Grant Award in the amount of $12,325. Any questions, or are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be removed for further and separate consideration? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve consent items?
Motion to approve consent items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item number 2 is to consider those items removed, none were. So we go down to item number 3, information items, and tonight we have the September 2023 financial statements and the October 2023 sales tax report by Ann Chin. Thank you, Ann.
The first thing that I want to point out is September, we have 3 payroll, because every 2 weeks that we did the payroll, so, within this 12 months, there's a 2 months, it will have the, 3 payroll.
Right.
Yeah, and the first one is general fund, and you can see that September is about 25% of the whole year, and the general fund revenue this time is about 28%, not including the transfer.
Right.
The transfer is we just do it fixed amount that every month. And for the expense, you can see that all the department is about 23% for the expense. So that's also I did not including the transfer out. Some transfer out, you can see that there's a one-time transfer out is 100%. So over the year, you will slowly, go down. Any question about the general fund?
That's a good report.
And the capital improvement fund is a little bit, we have some, for example, OWRB that we have some reimbursement, we requested, but we haven't got it, and then I think you will get it on October, right?
Are we talking about the BOR
It's the
project?
OWRB, no. We requested it, but we haven't got the money yet. And another thing is the equipment financing. We've got about 1.4 million equipment financing still in the process. So yes, that is the one that we are still waiting. And the bottom one is expense, each project expense that we have. And one thing I have to point out is we have one called the 2020 that financing that actually is a loan money that we spend on our project, but I haven't had I haven't do any reimbursement yet. Yeah. Okay, DCUA. DCUA also the 25% of the whole year. And the revenue also I take out, you will see the revenue on the top. Just I highlight the blue, that is the one-time kind of like revenue. That is the money that other authority that borrow money and then we paid it back. So that is only one time per year. So I did not including it. All the revenue on the top is about 27%. And the highlight blue, the below one, that is also the one-time transfer. That the 99,000, that is for the insurance, employee insurance, and another 600,000, that is the money that we get it from we used to be the self-insured, so get the money from the kind of like repayment. So that is the DCUA is the one that help us to pay all this health insurance in the past. So that's why I put it back to the DCUA.
Right.
And the expense also for the department is about 19.3% of the expense. And then the transfer, all this transfer we just do the transfer monthly breakdown to the 12 months. So it's about 25% each one. Is there any question about the?
So the headline is the revenues are over budget and expenses are under budget. So those are both positive variances from budget,
Yes.
right?
But-
Okay. But here comes the rest of the story, okay?
Turn the page.
Right now, it just started the first three months, so
Right.
we might have some repairs, some, a lot of
Celebrate the win. Come on. We're doing good, okay? Don't worry about Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, thank you.
Conservative. Okay, the sales tax. Sales tax, you can see that at least right now it's doing not bad, pretty good. So I also break down to 1% and 2%. That is actually what we really get. 1% is for the capital improvement, and the 2% is for the general fund. And I think everybody knows that our general fund budget is 20 million. So each month is 1.7 million. And this sales tax, you can see it's 880,000. So, and the same as 1% capital improvement. 1% capital improvement, we assign about 200 to 250 per month for the debt service. And the highlight yellow, that is the sales tax that we give it. For example, the first one is for the industrial economic improvement, and there's 2/4 cents. One is for the multi-sport complex, one is Southeastern, the football field and the arena, and the last one is our new high school. Well, it's not really new now, but the high school that we built it. So all this is we send it out to the other entity. It's not as a city we cannot use it. Yeah. So, and this is the 10 years the history. You can see actually our September is not bad. It's compared to the last year, the same month. Actually, we increased about 3.9%. And over the year, compared the prior year, the same period of time with this year is about 3.7% increase. Any question?
Thank you, Ann. Any questions for Ann? I know we don't have, that's a nice chart there to see how the sales tax is trending up for the city of Durant, so it's very positive, and we're encouraged by that. Any questions for Ann on the financials and the reports? Thank you, Ann. Okay, next under item number 4, administration, the city now will consider taking action with respect to a resolution of the city council and for the city of Durant approving action taken by the City Utilities Authority. Remember, we just did this a few minutes ago, authorizing this issuance and sale and delivery of a clean water SRF promissory note to the Oklahoma Water Resources Board, ratifying and confirming a lease as amended, and the sales tax agreement between the city and the authority, and a year-to-year pledge of sales tax revenue. So this is to consider and take action with respect to the resolution that was passed by the City Utilities Authority. Any questions or comments on this item on the agenda at this time? Have I phrased that adequately, Counselor?
Yeah, the council simply ratifying what the
City Utilities Authority approved. Any comments or questions on that? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 4A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item number 4B is to consider approval of an additional incentive for Allied Stone, and Mr. Bunce is here for the Industrial Authority.
The Industrial Authority did approve this last week, and what this would be is a $20,000 incentive to be used toward the building permit on Allied Stone. Apparently this had been negotiated before I came, and I did confirm that with the previous director and with Mr. Fang with Allied Stone. So I would recommend approval.
And that amount comes to about half of what the fee is.
The permit is like 42 or 3,000 or something like that.
Okay.
It was
So
over
just so
40,000.
just
It
so
would be
people kind of understand.
Almost half the permit.
Gotcha. Any questions of Mr. Bunce on that incentive? It's recommended and approved by the Industrial Authority.
I make the motion that we approve it.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item 4C is consider approval of an assignment of lease from Trustworks LLC to Trustworks Operations LLC, and approval of a 5-year lease extension at a rate of $6,000 per month. Okay, Paul.
The Trustworks, which is leasing the old stall plant at the airport, has taken on a new equity partner, Builder Solutions Group LLC, and they've changed the name of the corporation to Trustworks Operations, and so we do have a 5-year lease with them, and the city council has to approve any assignment of lease. So we would recommend approval of the assignment of lease from Trustworks LLC to Trustworks Operations LLC, be the same term.
Any comments or questions for Paul on that item? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 4C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item number 4D is,
Excuse me, Mayor, there's one more
Sorry.
aspect of this item is the extension of the lease. They have an option to extend the lease, and we have proposed to them, and they agreed to extension amount of $6,000 per month from $5,000 per month.
okay.
It's already in the lease. We just have to approve negotiation. I just wanted to bring this to council's attention that the city council approves of the negotiated amount to $6,000 per month.
Okay. And that is, I think that is in the motion, that it is now 6,000. If I said 5 earlier, I misspoke. Six
Okay.
is what we're,
Yeah.
6 is what we're approving. So thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
So item 4D is discussion, consideration, and possible action on acceptance of a loan from the Industrial Authority to the Airport Authority in the amount of $900,000. Again, we covered this earlier in the Airport Authority meeting. Any questions or comments on that? I make a motion that we approve and accept this loan from the Industrial Authority to the Airport Authority in the amount of $900,000.
Not second.
We have a motion and a second on item 4D. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item 4E is consider approval of Fair Labor Standards Act adjustment to the Fraternal Order Police Lodge 113 collective bargaining agreement and authorize the interim city manager to sign that. So are you presenting?
Yes, I can talk on that. It was determined that the city and the FOP had not been following FLSA guidelines in reference to overtime to the lieutenants. They were exempt, and you cannot do that. So we're looking forward, and if this is approved for me to sign off on this by the council, the lieutenants will no longer be exempt. They will be able to get overtime if needed, and we will be following FLSA standards.
Rick, do we have a lot of overtime usage by our lieutenants?
That there is some overtime. I've talked to both the public safety director and the interim chief of police, and this will be something that will be closely managed. So, you know, it will be watched.
Right.
How long have we been doing that? Not paying?
I don't know.
Forever.
Yep.
If I'm wrong, it has been this way. Captains and lieutenants have never received overtime, or at least within the last decade.
Within the last decade, yeah, it's been an agreement with the city and the FOP that lieutenants would be exempt.
It's been written in the contract for the past
Yeah.
decade.
So about 10 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Thank you.
Seems straightforward. Any comments or questions
Yeah.
on that? Now move to approve item 4E to approve the Fair Labor Standards Act adjustment and authorize the interim city manager to sign on
Six.
behalf of the city. We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item 4F is discussion, consideration, and possible approval for TOPS contract number 230202 to have Hellas Construction resource the Durant Multisports Complex track for $331,905.
Good evening. So our track out there has been in desperate need of resurfacing for a while. There's holes in it and all that. They've done patchwork here and there. It just looks in shambles. It's to the point now we can't use it for anything. It's became a safety hazard if we keep going this way. Having Hellas Construction come in and they will remove the old stuff, old surfacing, put in new ones. The contract is for $331,000 because we're, instead of doing the basic what everyone has, we're going to go with a little bit more non-permeable material so water doesn't get underneath it and then freeze and crack and causing more damage. It will make it where the track lasts longer. Typically tracks, if kept up, kept in proper maintenance, it could last 20 to 30 years. So we're hoping that this will last 20, 30 years with making sure we keep it maintained, clean, and all that.
Ron, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is this going to correct the problem with it not being regulation width?
So speaking to them, they came out and looked at it, and they can't figure out what their people are saying is not wrong. With the incorrect length, if it's the lanes not being wide enough, they can't figure out the solution. But they weren't on site, but this would correct it. They would make it where not only is it going to be striped, it'll be set up so when we have certain track, if we ever have a track event, it can be set up to go both directions instead of just one. But as for when I talk to them, they can't figure out what's wrong. It's the correct width, it's the correct lanes. So from day one, I was always told that was the incorrect length or something. Haven't been able to find anyone to tell me other than these guys say, everything's right. So
real quick, for some of y'all that don't know, this is, there's a certain amount of money left from the half-cent sales tax for the arena and the complex. And this is the first, there's maybe, I don't know, $1 million or so. This is about 300,000, a little bit over 300,000. That is from the decision at the DCFA was to split the first 600,000 between Southeastern and the complex. So this is, we don't have Southeasterns yet as to what they want to do with their first part of the money, but this is what the city, the sports complex, Ryan here wanted to do, and we felt that was the best course of action. There's a lot of needs out there, but this was one that we either got rid of it or we fixed it up appropriately, and that's what they felt was the best option, and that's what we decided at that meeting. So that's where that's coming from. That's kind of the background of that not everybody may understand.
That's helpful.
Ron, I have a question, just out of curiosity more than anything, in looking through the proposal, and particularly at the bottom of the first page, the striping that they're going to perform, and specifically it says that they are not going to do distance tick marks.
We can, on this proposal, it is not included, but we can add that on, and it will be, how he worded it is, once the striper's there, you tell them what you want, and it is a minuscule amount of money to do tick marks.
That was kind of my thought, is that it's going to need distance tick marks, and either they do it while they're doing it, or somebody else has to come back and do it.
With the local requirements, that is going with what college needs for their tracks. So that's the local requirements that they're going for. So if the NCAA states that it has to have tick marks, that's what they have to go with. Because high schools, some junior highs, they don't have to. Sure. So it's just a general contract or a proposal that they put out to everyone.
Okay, Ryan, and on the letter from the vendor, and I'm assuming it's a typo under the reference, line, it says the City of Durant High School track surface. So we're at the multi-sport.
We're at the
complex.
multi-sports.
We're not at the high school.
Yeah, I honestly, until you said that, never
Okay.
noticed that. I
Okay.
saw City of Durant and I
Okay.
moved on.
Gotcha.
And-
Okay.
But yes, we are talking about the complex.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay,
everything
perfect.
out there.
Have they discussed with you any kind of warranty on it?
I think they said 10-year guaranteed, but I could be wrong. Actually, a warranty of 1 year.
1 year.
What type of maintenance is involved with this after, to keep it not to fall apart like previous?
Well, first off, with our mowers, I have to instruct our guys to stop turning on the track. If they stay in a straight line, it's fine. It's when they make those sharp turns that it warps it. So getting those rubber mats so mowers can go across. You can also clean it once a year with a solution. You just spray it on there and call it good. And if you see any cracks along the way, you can buy the patching material and do a real thin coat to seal it up.
Any comments or questions? Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Anything further needs to be addressed on that? Do we hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 4F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item number 4G, again, was covered earlier in the Airport Authority meeting. This is discussion, consideration, and action on reallocation of capital improvement funds for the purchase and installation of security upgrades and cameras for the airport. And Josh has addressed it already in the Airport Authority meeting that we just had. So this would be the city council, again, ratifying or approving of the city of the Durant Airport Authority decision to reallocate this capital and to purchase and install these upgrades and cameras. Any comments or questions on item 4G? I'm sure Josh would be happy to cover it again. Hearing none, I move for approval of item number 4G.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item 4H is discussion, consideration, and possible action on PC 2023-30, a conditional use permit request from Tillman Infrastructure and AT&T for property near Cemetery Road.
So just some context for y'all. The property is over on Cemetery Road, 1523 Cemetery Road. It's zone C2 and A1. The property owners own the north parcel and the south parcel right above and below it. Current zoning around is R1 and C2. The C2 zoning is mostly for highway and kind of transportation or oriented uses. So this type of infrastructure would fit the city's use. And then just for some lot characteristics, it's about 4.5 acres. Within that 4.5 acres, the Tillman Infrastructure wants to lease a 70 by, I think it's 70 by 70, 75 by 75 area, build a 50 by 50 footprint, and have a 145-foot tower. The FFA has approved this height, and actually, I remember at the Planning Commission, AT&T was saying that this 145 is actually on the lower end, and they tried to keep it lower end out of respect for neighbors and FFA regulations. So, yeah, and just generally our recommendation would be approval that it fits city's use and long-term needs. So.
Are there any other towers in that area, in that vicinity at all?
Relatively, probably, I think it's a quarter of a mile, half a mile away. Yeah, and the way that was described to me that they basically try to have towers every half mile, every quarter mile to kind of keep the cell, yeah.
Mayor, there's a relatively new one south of the bypass, probably like 3/4 of a mile on 78 there, so kind of
Okay.
in the same line there.
Any comments or questions? Seems straightforward. I'm assuming it's a long-term lease and that kind of thing, which is normal for towers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I move for approval of item number 4H for this conditional use permit for Tillman Infrastructure and AT&T.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Councilmember Shear?
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu?
Yes.
Mayor Tucker?
Yes. Next is item 4I, discussion, consideration, and possible action on PC 2023-31, a final plat request by Tim Attaway for a property near Peppernut Lane and Red Bud Lane. And Mr. Attaway, I see, is also here. So any comments from the city on this item?
Yeah, so generally, again, some context. The areas different are residential zoning, R1, R3. This parcel is R1. A lot of the area is low density right now. Some agricultural on the end. The lot is 14.5 acres. And then just the background, the goal for this property is just single family use. And then just generally our recommendation is to recommend approval. It was a little unique because the Davis property behind it looks like it's orphaned, but this final plat would allow it not to be. And Tom and I have talked quite extensively about the law behind this and trying to get things corrected so that there is that access, and this would allow for that. So,
will you elaborate on the access?
yeah, so an orphan parcel is a parcel where you don't have any access to a roadway, and that's what the Davis parcel behind this parcel, lot 4, I think, if you see on the map. Without this final plat, there's no access, and so we're recommending to approve this final plat that would incorporate the front several acres and have access to the road.
Councilwoman Fuller, essentially, and Mr. Attaway may be able to shed some light on this, but my understanding is, as it's platted now, Lot 4 actually would be owned by more than one person. There is a planned transaction whereby Lot 4 is going to be owned by a single entity, and as well as the remainder of the lots as well. And so this conforms with the platting requirements of the city. I know this wasn't necessarily what anybody wanted to do, but Drew Jackson, our chairman of our planning commission, worked really hard to get this done. Mr. Attaway worked hard to get this done, so it's taken some effort. And given the sort of almost rural nature and undeveloped nature of this property, platting it wasn't necessarily at the forefront of anyone's mind. But it took a lot of effort. But the city personnel, Chairman Jackson and Mr. Attaway, worked really hard to get this done. So this is a really good thing.
Lot 2 is Mr. Gode's property, correct? Because I remember we had this discussion like 2 months ago.
That's true. Lot 2, the
Okay.
1 acre parcel is Commissioner Gode's property.
He'll come back to that next.
And I don't think the boundaries of his property changed. I think that was the lot that he was originally purchased from Mr. Attaway, and so this purportedly accomplishes the goal of having him a buildable lot that complies with all of the city ordinances.
So are they gonna build like a driveway through that lot that's on Peppernut to the back lots?
There's not, it's not necessary to have a driveway. At the southern end of the plat, there, it adjoins, Lot 4 kind of goes north-south and then turns back and adjoins Peppernut for the required frontage length, and so there doesn't need to be a driveway to get to Lot 4. It actually adjoins Peppernut Lane for the required frontage width.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, they may choose to put a driveway and put a house way back there, but a driveway is not required for access to the property.
No, on the paper, it had Attaway's name as that frontage lot, and then the Davises is the back lots. I just wanted to clarify that the Davises had access through that lot.
Eventually, that will change. My understanding is there's a planned transaction where a single owner will own that entire Lot 4. Lot 4 now on the plat sort of reflects who either owned it, did own it, but eventually Lot 4 will be a parcel that's owned by a single person.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Appreciate the persistence and the work that's been done to get this to this point. Thank you very much. Mr. Attaway, you as well. Do we hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 4I.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item number 4I. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. At this point, in order to keep things in order for the council meeting as we flow through these items, I've got to jump down at this time to item number 5, if you have an agenda. This will be the public hearings portion of the city council meeting tonight. And the item is the closeout public hearing for 17980 Community Block Development Grant, Small Cities 20, completing a water treatment plant, supervisory control and data acquisition, which is SCADA improvements, which is from C 2020-68 GEC. This notice has been posted. How many places in town? 6, I understand. And it's also been made a part of the public record for tonight's meeting. So, Becca.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor. If you would allow me, please, I would like to introduce the new Assistant Grants Coordinator, Tiffany Steele, which will be a great asset, or it already is a great asset for the city. So she's shadowing me tonight and making sure I don't make any mistakes. Okay, this public hearing is required by Department of Commerce, the CDBG program, to close out a grant, and we have completed the SCADA project at the water treatment plant. And of course, we have Brandon here that can speak on technical terms for this. But in September 2020, the city received the CDBG Community Development Block Grant through the Small Cities Program in the amount of $152,222 for controls and electrical improvements for the SCADA, which is Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System upgrade at the water treatment plant. The program requires a 1-to-1 cash match, but because it was included with other water treatment improvements that were completed, the actual city's contribution towards the project was $1,913,616.32 for a total project of $2,065,838.31. And the CDBG program is funded through the federal HUD program, and which is Federal Housing and Urban Development Department. The primary objective of the Community Development Block Grant is to develop viable urban communities by providing decent housing and a suitable living environment, particularly for persons of low and moderate income. So because of the improvements of the water treatment plant, it did make a better environment for our city and did benefit the whole community. And so the national objective benefiting the low to moderate income persons is considered a priority under the Oklahoma State's CDBG program and funded through the state CDBG program, and meets the low to moderate income national objective criteria. This funding is designed for projects to benefit 51% low to moderate income in a community. But HUD has determined, because of our population and our poverty rate here, that we are actually at 54%. So we did meet that criteria, and the project was eligible and benefited the entire community. Due to equipment delays, the original contract end date was supposed to be September 25th of 22. And because there was delays, the project was extended by Department of Commerce, and it was successfully completed this year on September the 25th. Any questions?
Very good work. Thank you, Becca. Any comments or questions for the grants team? Thank you very much.
Okay, you're
At this
welcome.
point, I will call for public comments, and I will call 3 times. So this is your first opportunity. Are there any comments that anyone wishes to make publicly at this time? So my second call, are there any comments that the public wishes to make at this time? I'm sensing none. So my third and final call, are there any comments for the public to make at this time? Are we legal now? Hey, thank you. Okay, that closes out to the public hearing portion of this agenda item. So that is item number 5. We will now go back on our agenda under administration, item 4J, which is the Small Cities 20 water treatment plant improvements. Consideration and possible action to approve a resolution for proof of a public hearing, which I hold in my hand here, the document. Any discussion on that?
This resolution is asking the council to approve that we have completed the public hearing tonight.
In case you weren't paying attention, I think we did. Can we cover all these in one? A, B, C, and D?
No, they need to be separate.
I
So you
move
need
to approve item number J, A, which is approve the resolution for proof of public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item J, A. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Next is item J, B. Consideration, discussion, and possible action to accept the water treatment plant improvements described through this CDBG Small Cities 20 project as successfully complete. Any comments or questions on the status of completion for this project? I move to approve the project as successfully complete.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for item JB. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Item number JC is consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve the 17-980 CDBG Small Cities 20 closeout documents, again, which I hold in my hand. Any comments on those?
Mayor, actually, the last document in your packet, there's a Scribner error
Okay.
by me. On the last page, what the top the item says the original amount of the contract issued to the contractor, and it should be $1,675,000. I put in the amount including the change orders.
Gotcha.
So I got a text a while ago from Department of Commerce because I had sent them this with a question, is that correct? So the actual amount should be the $1,675,000, and I will make that change.
Okay. With that correction to the final document set, are there any comments or questions on approving the document closeout? Hearing none, I move to approve item JC, which will approve the closeout documents with that
Second.
adjustment. We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. Next is item 4K, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve change order number 1 to modify contract C 2021-68 GEN with Dave's Electrical Service and Systems extending a contract completion date for the generator project at the weather radar site. The date extended from July 17, 2023 to December 31 of 2023.
Yes, sir. And due to the delays in all of our generator projects, this was overlooked, and they are actually going to be on site, I think tomorrow, starting that completion of the generator connections and connecting the propane tank and everything to that. So December 31st was probably not necessary, but
Right.
I'd rather do that than have to come back.
Right. Okay. Any questions or comments for Becca on item 4K? Do I hear a motion to consider for approval?
Motion to approve 4K.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for item 4K. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is item 6, executive session. Item 6A is to consider executive session for confidential communication with your attorney considering a pending claim against the City of Durant, Hammond v. City of Durant, which is CJ 2022-165. I move that we adjourn into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes. We'll now move into executive session. on agenda item number 6B, which is to consider action pursuant to agenda item number 6A. And at this time, we will take no action on item 6A. Item number 7 on the agenda is new business. Is there any new business to come before the City Council of Durant tonight? Hearing none, I'll move for adjournment of the City Council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Shear,
Yes.
Councilmember Fuller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simulescu.
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes, we stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.